Okay, believe the stream is back up. My apologies. I did not notice that the stream went down for a second there, but I think we should be okay now. Okay. Sorry, we'll just continue here with phishing attempts, and the little trick with the plus sign at the end there will allow you to see a little information about where that shortened link is taking you. So we'll take that, just put it in here. So you can see that this link shortener was actually directing people towards a fake Ether wallet website called signcontract-etherwallet.net. And unfortunately, 90 people clicked on it, but you can see a little bit of the statistics of the people that were clicking on it. Luckily, it's been flagged, and it's probably been taken down by now, but that's a cool little handy trick that you can use to for link shorteners, at least for Bitly and for the shortened Google links, to see where these short links are actually taking you. But main point is, don't Google search anything. Don't click on random links that you don't know where it's taking you to. Just type it in yourself. It'll save you a lot of headache. Here's another example of what people do due to the open source nature that we have here. People clone websites and they put it up on a server somewhere else that is changed to basically steal your private keys and to get access to your cryptocurrencies. So for example, this one here looks exactly the same, but one of them is a phishing site. Here's a good example of how you can spot stuff like that. Let's see here. Look at the URL. If you look closely at the URL here, that's not my Ether wallet. That's myetherwaller.com. So little things like that, they'll try to trick you into these other websites that look very similar to the original ones to try to get you there. Even though this is marked as secure, which is very interesting, probably means they have a SSL certificate, but we'll go into that afterwards because only the legitimate websites will have a legitimate SSL certificate for the website. But it's pretty amazing. You just copy and paste the website, put it on another server, and one of them is meant to steal keys, and one of them is actually meant for you to spend cryptocurrency. So those are little things that you need to look at right now. But for example, this one displays the My Ether Wallet Incorporated sticker and is actually spelled right. This is the real site here. But you can see how people can be easily tricked from phishing because of stuff like this. With Chrome, you're able to just click on the My Ether Wallet Incorporated, see what their certificate is, and you can basically confirm it. That this one is the My Ether Incorporated wallet. This is the right site, the valid certificate, whereas the fake one, myetherwaller.com, has no information about the company itself. Okay, so little things like that could hopefully save you in the future when it comes to dealing with cryptocurrency. Okay, next we're going to move on to giveaways, which is another big thing out there that is being used to scam people for cryptocurrency. Giveaways, there's no such thing a lot of the time. It doesn't really strike me as people, being generous and wanting to just give free money to people. That doesn't even happen in real life, unless you're panhandling or something. But that's a whole other thing. Twitter is probably the worst for it. People creating fake accounts of celebrities, crypto thought leaders, and just posting links to fake Ethereum giveaway websites and stuff like this. Here's a good example one here of Elon Musk. If you look very closely, his Twitter handle is Elon Musk. Doesn't have like the Twitter verified badge, but apparently some people are even able to fake a Twitter badge. So don't just rely on this, but just know, use your common sense. I mean, no one's going to give you free crypto really, so just ignore it. um, a new one that I've seen lately is is called a Ethereum generator. Um, kind of Here's an example um, of what an Ethereum generator is, which, by the way, does not exist. You can't just create Ethereum out of thin air. That's not how it works. You can see, like, it was just here, enter your address and all that stuff, and it's telling you to generate well. Like, if it's too good to be true, it probably is. Um, just ignore stuff like this. Uh, that was a pretty new thing that I saw as well, so I wanted to share that. A limited Ethereum generator. All right. Most common cryptocurrency scams. All right. Fake ICOs. Very big problem out there. Do your research. Really, there's so much information out there. If you're going to invest your money into something, you should know what you're putting your money into. That's the simple solution, really. Do your research. I believe one ICO used who was it? Ryan Gosling or something, or Ryan Reynolds as a as a person on their team or something. They used his photo on his website on their ICO website. I mean, nothing screams fake like that does. They even gave him another name. I don't have the screenshot here to show you, but the next one is social media giveaway scams, which I just shown you a couple examples. Solution to that is just ignore them. No one's going to give you free crypto. The next one is clone websites for phishing, right? So check URLs very carefully. I already showed you how easy it is for you to misspell something or for you to stumble across a website where the spelling is off by one letter. The secure site with the proper SSL certificate, right? So you can see that some of the fake clone sites sometimes even have the secure badge on it, and that could fool people too. Check the actual SSL certificate. You can also copy and paste the links into etherscamdb.info, which is an open source database that a lot of people in the crypto community maintain to keep an eye out on scam websites and URLs and phishing sites and such. Ether address lookup extension. So this is an extension that was created by, I believe, Harry, who created this awesome Chrome extension that sort of warns you when you stumble across any of the scams that are in this database. It's just a great visual warning and to also automatically block you from going into it, which is really nice. I will post the link into the chat here so that you guys can install it yourself. It's very handy to have in your toolkit as you're dealing with cryptocurrency because this extension actually does a lot of the work for you. I have the link in the slideshows somewhere. I believe I posted it up in the last video too, but it's right here. I'll find it for you. I mean, this is not good practice to actually Google something, but I know exactly what I'm looking for. Progress, look up Chrome Web Store. Another good hint to make sure that it's actually real. I mean, 89 people have reviewed this one, offered by Harry. 106,000 users. Definitely looks a little more legit to me. So that's something that you might want to look into. I will copy and paste this into the chat here. Anyone? Cool. All right, so going on, hand type website addresses. Pretty simple way to mitigate trouble. Another one is ad scams, which I showed you already. Here's another example of another MyEtherWallet fake site from Google. MyEtherWallet.ac. Don't know what that is. Easy solution, don't use Google search or just look very carefully. These are sponsored ads that were put at the top there. Next one, DNS hacks. So that one is a little more difficult for the normal non-technologically inclined people to sort of verify. This can be hard, but verify SSL certificates is a key one, because if something's off, it'll generally warn you, saying that the certificate is not valid or something like that. That's already a good red flag for you. Email scams, a lot of the times you'll get these fake support emails from Coinbase or from whatever exchange you are registered to. Just basically don't click on the links to your email. If it tells you to do something, just go into your account yourself and do something. I mean, they shouldn't. We really have to get rid of the habit of actually just clicking links blindly and trusting them to sort of direct us to the right place. The only person you really trust is really yourself. So just go to the exchange yourself. Type in Coinbase.com and actually go into it and see what's wrong. Fake support teams is another one. Don't engage with any, quote unquote support. If there's ever a need for you to reach out to support, you're generally the one that's going to be reaching out. All right. I think I have an example of one. So here's an example of one. Telegram is really bad for this, and Slack before as well, where you would get all these random people coming in, pretending to be support personnel and personally messaging you for stuff. So this one's an example of Foam, the Foam Telegram channel, where people would just come in and pretend to be salespeople, or support people, and actually try to say, hey, have you successfully purchased our tokens during our ICO? And, these things just don't, no one's going to come out there and offer you that kind of service. If there's a problem, you know who to reach out to on the Telegram channels. People randomly messaging you is always a red flag. All right, and fake exchanges / apps. So an easy way to sort of mitigate this is to only use the legitimate known exchanges. There's a lot of sketchy exchanges out there, but nothing beats time and reputation. So stick to the ones that you know, the ones that are, obviously out there that you have heard of before, like Coinbase, Binance, the ones that have been around and actually proven themselves, actually deal with millions of dollars in transactions each day. When it comes to fake apps, just go to the official site and see if they even have like a mobile app. Like, you'd be surprised. Some of these apps that you see on the Play Store for Google or for the App Store in Apple, because they don't catch them all, is fake applications that are actually made to make you think that something exists when it's not. I believe, like, for the longest time, my EtherWallet never really had a mobile wallet, and people were making fake ones to put on the Play Store. So something as simple as doing that, you'll know whether or not it's fake, and only use the links in the official sources, right? Cloud mining scams, Ponzi's, pyramids, BitConnect, for example, fake pools, over-the-counter scams. All I can say is just make sure you're doing your research. That's really the key. The number one preventer of you getting scammed is you. So If you're able to stop yourself from doing that, do your research, and you can stop yourself from doing that. Pump and dump groups, avoid those, obviously. Those are also illegal. And the other one is phone hacks and SIM swaps. This is actually one of those things that you don't think about until it actually happens to you. So it's actually very easy with a little bit of social engineering. Some people will go out there and actually try to pretend to be you, call your cell phone service provider, and get your SIM card swapped to the attacker's SIM card. And then with that, they can get access to quite a few things, especially if you've linked your phone to a bunch of these accounts. So one thing that you can do to prevent something like this is calling your cell phone service provider, putting on some enhanced security measures to make sure that whoever's calling and pretending to be you has to know a lot more information than just where you live and what your birthday is. Number 2 is SMS, text, and phone verification. They're not real two-factor authentication methods. Don't trust those like you would with something like Google Authenticator, because if someone gets access to your cell phone account and then they swap the SIM card, basically you're kind of screwed if you relied on, say, SMS messages for a 6-number code, because someone can intercept that and be able to access your accounts. So whenever it comes to phone or text message verification, those are actually not real authentication methods to help prevent any sort of attacks. A good example of this was recently a cryptocurrency investor actually sued AT&T for the theft of a bunch of their cryptocurrency because of something like this. I believe I have the link here to show you. Yeah, U.S. investor sues AT&T for $224 million over loss of cryptocurrency because basically this person was basically their identity was frauded, and they were a victim of identity theft and got a lot of their stuff stolen because it was linked to their phone, right? So don't trust SMS and phone two-factor authentication. Use a YubiKey, use Google Authenticator. But also, very importantly, you should two-factor everything, especially when it comes to cryptocurrency exchanges. That is something that you definitely want to do. Even your email two-factor, important. It's just passwords can be easily just bypassed these days. It's always good to have a second authentication method on you. So another good security practice is installing the Ethereum address lookup extension. Invest in a hardware wallet for long-term storage. A lot of the stuff we talked about with cryptocurrency scams could potentially be mitigated by just having a hardware wallet. Because an example, like the Ledger Nano S, what happens is with these hardware wallets, basically the keys to your cryptocurrency in the address is all stored in here. So even if you went to a phishing site or something and basically you put in, I don't know, recovery C or a private key or something that you shouldn't be doing anyway, this thing could protect you or could at least protect some of your cryptocurrency, because all of the transaction signing and everything is done in the device itself, which is completely separate from your computer, which is also theoretically something that you can even use this device on a computer with spyware or other kinds of garbage, and you still wouldn't be able to necessarily get the actual keys from this device. Turn off MetaMask when you're not using the browser extension. And there's not really an occasion where you should be typing your private key or your phrase anywhere, especially if you didn't initialize something. There was a phishing attempt recently with MetaMask where MetaMask pretends it updated, and it inside the address bar, it's not the address bar, but the Chrome extension itself, it was like, oh, we just recently updated MetaMask, please re-enter your 12-word phrase. Now, when you give up your 12-word phrase, you sort of given away your password. So basically, if someone or something is asking you for your private key or phrase, just stop there and think about it for a little bit and make sure that it's something legitimate. When it comes to your recovery phrase, you'll see that in your ledger device, you'll get something similar to a recovery sheet, which kind of looks like this. There we go. It should come with every box of the ledger. Let's see if I can zoom in on this or something. Basically looks like this. There are different ways you can separate this sheet. One of the things you can do is cut it in half, cut it into 4 pieces, store them all in different places. Basically, if someone is able to solve this puzzle and get all your 24 words, you've kind of locked all of your assets in one place. For example, if you put this card fully intact in a bank safety deposit box, yeah, it's generally safe. But I remember reading this article about someone who had whose safety deposit box got accessed without their permission. And if you leave all your eggs in one basket, you're kind of just giving whoever has access to it your entire worth that's stored in those 24 words. So a couple of things you can do would be just to split it up, put it in 2 different places. If someone has one half of the puzzle, well, they don't know how to get access to the other half. So little things that you can do there to sort of mitigate the risk. That's a good security practice to have. And just a lot of times when you're setting things up, ensure that you can actually restore it. So if you have your 24-word phrase, just try programming another ledger and just make sure that you're getting the same accounts. All right, quickly about digital exchanges. Some of the centralized ones that we all know about, Coinbase, Kraken, one of them. Binance is a great crypto-to-crypto one. For the Canadians that are watching this, Quadriga CX and CoinSquare are 2 of the biggest ones in Canada. If you want a referral link, that'd be awesome. Just ask me for it. There are some that are integrating like an exchange sort of just directly from your wallet, your digital wallet on your phone or something. So Robinhood is a good one in the US, for example, for you to easily buy and sell Bitcoin. Now, the problem with these centralized exchanges is that you don't actually hold the assets, right? You're trusting Robinhood or Coinbase or Kraken to hold these assets for you. Well, with the power of technology, something like a hardware device, you are able to have these assets right in your own pocket. I mean, the whole concept of cryptocurrency is that it allows you to sort of take back your power, your financial sovereignty, basically. So by holding the assets yourself, you trust only yourself and not having to rely on these exchanges in case something happens. And this is where a lot of decentralized exchanges see their value, and why something like 0x protocol is very, very popular, because we don't necessarily want to trust centralized exchanges. There have been hacks that you may have heard of many, many times, like Mt. Gox being the big one in the early days for Bitcoin. And if they lose the Bitcoin, I mean, you kind of lost your Bitcoin with them. And as you know, cryptocurrency, you can't just reverse things. If it's gone, it's gone. Radar Relay being one of the popular decentralized exchanges out there, Kyber being another one. There's a couple out there that allows you to sort of facilitate exchanges between two people without needing to go through a centralized exchange such as Binance, Coinbase, and such. Yeah, so we quickly talked about this. I mean, when you have a honeypot of cryptocurrency, it's a huge, huge target for hackers. So centralized cryptocurrency exchanges are actually a huge, huge target. And I mean, if that's something that you're willing to risk, I mean, feel free to leave it on an exchange. But I mean, you kind of are at the mercy of the exchange at that point. There's a good saying. It's if you don't hold the private keys to your wallet, you don't own what's in it. So this device gives you the power to own your private keys, which in turn means you own all the assets that it's connected to. One second here. All right. So Ledger Wallet demo. I'm going to make this one as quick and as simple as possible just to get you set up. If you have one of these devices, awesome. You can follow along. If not, buy one, come back to the video another time and follow these steps. These things are changing very often. Things in this industry move very fast, so it may be outdated by the time you see this. It may not be. If the instructions pertain to you, great. If it doesn't, then we'll probably update it in a future video. So what is it? Hardware wallet. It basically is an external device that allows you to hold your cryptocurrency keys, your private keys and stuff, do all the transaction signing, and manage it all through an external device. Because the assumption is your computer is compromised and it's connected to the internet all the time. It's not really safe to just have all your life savings basically on like your computer or on anything for that matter connected to the internet. We're going to go through Ledger is actually one of the popular ones. There's Trezor out there, there's KeepKey, there's then I'm pretty sure we'll only see more starting to emerge. Now when it comes to the box itself, you'll get it in a box like this. Just open it up, it would just be sitting right here. It'll come with a welcome piece with a bunch of papers in here about like how to get started, why there's no anti-tampering sticker on this box. Reason being is it's not necessarily the device that's important, it's the actual information that's stored on the device. So I mean, yes, guard this with your life, but at the same time, what's more important is you must guard your 24 words with your life. If you lose this device, it's not the end of the world. If they don't know the PIN code, if someone who finds this doesn't know the PIN code to this wallet, after 3 attempts, it basically just resets itself. So it's kind of useless to them if they don't know your PIN code. If they know your PIN code, you're, well, a little bit screwed in that sense. But if you lose this somewhere, no worries. As long as someone who picks it up doesn't have the PIN code to get into it, it'll erase itself after 3 attempts. What's more important is you just buy another one of these devices and you just reprogram it to the 24 words that you have, which is why the 24 words is much, much, much more important. Okay, it'll come with a USB cable. It'll come with that recovery sheet I showed you earlier for you to write the 24 words down that it generates. I'm just going to plug this in here, and then we'll get started. Very, very simple. USB, just plug it right in. Light up. Welcome. Just going to make my my webcam a little bit bigger so that we can see this better. Okay. Perfect. Welcome. Oops, upside down. There we go. Press both buttons to begin. There's 2 buttons at the top here. Okay. So begin by pushing both. Great. With Ledger Nano OS, side buttons are used to interact and control the user interface. Use left-right buttons to change values and navigate through the multiple choice lists. Okay, both buttons is basically like an enter key. Awesome. So this device itself will generate the 24 words you need to configure a new wallet. So yes, you will configure as a new device if you want to generate a new 24-word key pair, and no if you want to restore one. Okay, so as a demo example, we're just going to create a new one. It's going to ask you to choose a PIN code, okay? So obviously, pick something that you'll remember. For this purpose, we're just going to go through and just do 0, 0. Don't do what I'm doing, because that's the easiest PIN code to crack, 0, 0, 0, 0. You need a minimum of 4 and a maximum of 8. So once you have 4, you'll have this check mark icon, just to confirm. Okay, so I'm going to confirm 0, 0, 0, 0. Done. Okay, write down your recovery phrase. Very important. Don't do this. Don't take a picture of it. Don't put it on your computer or anything like that. This is something that I would suggest doing by traditional hand and paper. Okay? Because you got to assume that things out there are not safe. Okay. So we'll do that. So another thing that is very important is there were a lot of newcomers that were coming into the scene back in 2017, and someone got really creative and generated a 24 key pair for someone to scratch off. Now, legitimate Ledger devices will always generate your 24 words on the device itself. They're not just given to you. So there was this really interesting thing here where somebody got like a little scratch card with 24 words assigned to it and obviously got their stuff stolen. Here. Right. So somebody, unfortunately, who did not know anything about cryptocurrency or hardware wallets got something like this with their ledger. And this is never supposed to happen. Your device itself should be generating the keys. Okay. So if you see something like that, or anything that is not generating the actual words on your device itself, scrap it. Don't use it. Always buy from a trusted source is another one. Something to keep in mind here. Okay, so for demo purposes, I'm just going to write this down. Obviously, don't use the 24-word phrase that I am showing you here, because they'll have access to all of your crypto in there. So it's very easy. They're going to give you a word, tourist. That's number 1. Push the right button there to scroll to the next word. Click. Veteran. Random. Public. Keep scrolling through. And obviously I'm not telling you the words. Not like I'm really going to use this anyway, but nobody should be around as you are doing this. because this is the secret that you will keep secret with your life, unless you want people to have access to your cryptocurrency. Almost there. So keep scrolling till you get to word 24. So there's the end. There's my word 24. You can hit both buttons, like basically doing enter, and then it'll ask you to confirm. So it's going to go through all of your words here, and it's asking you to confirm number 1 all the way to number 24. Okay, so it's going to have all of the words that was given to you, in the library, but you're going to pick the one that is actually word number 1, and then you're going to push the 2 buttons at the top there. Now, if you put in the wrong word, let's just say this one is the wrong word, it's going to say recovery seed or recovery word does not match. Then you just push enter again, and then you can find the right word again. And then you'll obviously keep doing this until you get it right, and everything, it can confirm all the words with you. Before, they never used to have this step, but I'm glad that they put this in, because then you can verify that all your words are actually in the right place. Because even if you have all 24 of these words, if you don't have them in the right order, you're going to end up with something completely different, which doesn't lead back to the cryptocurrency you stored. So this does take a bit of time. Your fingers will get tired doing this. You obviously don't want to be doing this too often, and you shouldn't be doing this very often. Once it's set up, it should be set up. Even when you update the device, it shouldn't erase your configurations on here. Okay, so when I get to word 24, I'm going to find it here first. Okay. Confirm. Processing, great. It's programming it to the 24 words that we've supplied it. The device is now ready. Okay, perfect. Okay, now we have to install apps on Ledger using the instructions at start.ledgerwallet.com. Okay, well, for demonstration purposes, we'll go to that page anyway. And it's going to direct you to download Ledger Live, which is the new software that allows you to manage all of the assets in your ledger, which is great because it used to be Chrome apps and it wasn't very easily accessible nor easy for people to do it. Ledger. Open this up. Okay, welcome to Ledger Live. Get started. Initialize a new Ledger device. Okay, Ledger Now S. Great. Connect it to your computer. Choose your PIN code. Unlock. Okay. Just follow the instructions. They've actually made it very, very easy for you to read all of that. Yes. Did you save your recovery phrase by yourself? Yes. Is your Ledger device genuine? Well, let's check. So there it is. It's asleep right now. Oh, it's going to ask you to navigate to the dashboard of the device. So we'll put in the pin 0, 0, 0, 0, and then the check mark. Okay. Oh, it's going to ask to allow Ledger Manager. Yes, we want Ledger Manager to access it. Perfect. Great, it does its test. Your device is genuine. That's a good sign. Continue. Now you can set up a password lock to prevent unauthorized access to the data on the device itself. So for this demo purpose, I will not. So I will skip this step, but you definitely should. And choose to report bugs, technical data, all that stuff. Turn that off. Great, your device is ready. Open Ledger Live. Now, your device itself may not come with any apps. As you can see, it only says settings on there. We're going to have to go into the manager aspect of this and actually install some of the applications that we'll need. So one of them being Bitcoin, for example. So we'll install that. Okay. It's asking me for my password. That'd help it. Okay, great. Bitcoin is now installed on your device. You can see on the device itself, Bitcoin. Perfect. Okay. Next, we'll just do Ethereum, but you can see all the different stuff it supports here, right? Some of them will require the third-party application. Like I know, for example, Neo requires you to have the other wallet software on your computer there. I believe it's called Neon. That's it. So you'll need Neon to interact with this device itself, with all the applications, with the Neo application installed on this device as well. Quantum, I believe, also requires their wallet that you download on their website, but some things are not necessarily fully native to Ledger Wallet. So just be aware of that. Okay. So now we'll do something like perhaps let's look at our Ethereum account, for example. Oh, now it needs the PIN code again. I'm going to do a demo of how to send cryptocurrency to your Ledger wallet. Oh, I didn't install Ethereum yet, so we'll do that. Ethereum. Install. Great, installing Ethereum. It's going to do a little bit of a processing circle there. Great, Ethereum now installed on the device. If we scroll to Ethereum here, see that it's in. Perfect. Okay. So now with this, we're going to go to something like, let's just use mycrypto.com as an example. So some of these website interfaces will allow integration with a hardware wallet device like Ledger, for example, here on mycrypto. You can do that, but the way, here, so we'll go to unlock your Ledger and I'll show you why it doesn't work as you click connect to Ledger Wallet, okay? So first of all, whenever you use an application on the Ledger device, you got to go into it. So you're going to scroll to Ethereum, go into it. Okay, why doesn't it still work? Well, there are different settings on there. Oh, it's already enabled, but just in case it doesn't actually work, what you're going to do is you're going to scroll down, hit settings, enter. Contract data is important to turn on if you're dealing with any contract stuff. Yes. Oh, they got rid of the option for disabling the browser support. It seems to be default now, so ignore that. Just turn on the contract data because that's important when dealing with tokens that are not, well, they're Ethereum based because that's how you're going to interact with it. Okay, so you can see here that it pops up with a bunch of different addresses here. These are all yours. They all belong to you, and you can use them all. And if you keep clicking, you will see that it will go on forever because basically your 24-word generates what is called like pretty much like a master seed, okay? And then that master seed allows you to create all these different wallets, okay? And all these different addresses. So you can use any of these. These are all yours, okay? A good way to double check that your 24 words are actually correct is to actually try to reprogram your device by actually resetting this to default and then inputting all 24 words again. If you really want to be extra hardcore and make sure that your 24 words are safe, we can do that. But before we go into that, because I'll do that at the very end because I don't want to reprogram the device. It takes a lot of time. I'm just going to give you an example, okay? Let's see here. There is another way to verify that your 24 words is correct. It involves a little bit more knowledge, I guess you can say. But basically, when I was talking about the root key, it's basically computer language translated back into English for us. So in English, what gives you access to all these accounts and to that master seed is the 24 words, okay? But when you translate those 24 words into something that the computer understands, you'll get a bunch of ramble letters and numbers. And that's what the computer itself understands. So Ian Coleman has something called BIP39, which is where the original concept originated from. It originated with Bitcoin so that people didn't have to memorize a random string of letters and numbers. They could just, you know, put it all in like 24 words perhaps. Okay. So this site here is a mnemonic code converter. And what you can see here is that if you put in the mnemonic, it'll display a root key which generates all of the different accounts that you'll see down here. So for this demonstration purpose, I guess because there's nothing in here, it doesn't really matter. Don't use these 24 words. I'm going to type in the 24 words of my seed. Cat, load, fossil, tent, fashion, quote, churn, among, pill, negative, wedding, window, catalog, enable, bottom, cry, asset, view, permit. Okay, so this generates a random number of seed, a random seed with a bunch of random numbers and letters. Okay, so you can see, even if I flip one of these around, let's just flip around permit and few. Oh, showing as invalid. Okay. Anyways, I was just going to show you that even if you, maybe if I tried this, no, won't let you repeat. Anyways, the point I'm trying to get here is that if these are not in the correct order, and these are, and it's not valid, it's going to completely change what this seed is. This is sort of the important aspect of this key because it generates all these different addresses for you, not just for Bitcoin, but for a bunch of different cryptocurrencies you can see here. Okay, so for example, I'm going to show you Ethereum. Okay, so what it does is it generates this root key, which in turn at the bottom here derives a bunch of different addresses. Okay, so we're going to toggle this. Great, so at the top here we have this address, which coincidentally translates to 1F. Oops. Hope I got it right. Set permit. There we go. Okay. Now it should generate something a little more similar. I'm just going to refresh this page here. Go to Ethereum. This is all extra stuff, just to sort of prove a point here. Oops. The ledger here went to sleep. So the settings here, it's actually very secure. If you don't interact with it for a certain period of time, it's going to go back to sleep, so you got to enter your password again. So once I do that, see here, we got a bunch of different addresses. And over here, we got a bunch of different addresses as well. These are all yours as well, which belongs to these 24 words. Okay? All right. Going on from that, we will do a quick transfer to this address just to demonstrate how to send a little bit of crypto out of here. Okay, so I'm going to my MetaMask. I'm just going to send like $5 worth of ETH to the ledger address. So the assumption is, with this address, basically when you send any cryptocurrency to it, it's safe in the hardware device. Okay, so if you send any Ethereum here, it's generally basically stored on your hardware device because the private key for it is all in here. You can't spend from this address unless you have this device programmed correctly to be able to spend it. So we'll do that. We'll, let's see, 8218F. Perfect. Looks legit. 74CC9. Yep. Okay, great. So we'll send this off. Oh, did I? Of course, I did not state the amount I wanted. That's the gas price and the gas limit, which we've explained earlier that you can change. We'll go back and edit this so that we send all 0.02. Right, because we don't have the sufficient fees to pay for that if I send 0.02. So we'll just do a little bit of math here. Okay, so the amount I want to send is 0.02. but you got to deduct the gas fees, which is 0.000042, which means I can only send out this much ether. Perfect. Now, if I change the gas price of this, it's going to cost me a little bit more in the gas fee, so then the number will be a little more invalid, and then we'll have to recalculate. We'll do this, send it all out, confirm it, and in a short amount of time, we should see that our new hardware wallet has 0.1 something ETH in it. Okay, perfect. So it's already had its one block confirmation now. Great. So there you go. Now our hardware wallet has $5.43 in it. Perfect. Now if we refresh this, and connect to it. Of course, the hardware wallet is sleeping, so we'll wake it up. 0, 0, 0, 0. Okay, good. We'll connect to Ledger Wallet, and we'll see we have a little bit of ETH in here. Unlock it. Awesome. So you can safely assume that there is 0.02 Ethereum within your hardware device. Okay. Now, as I've demonstrated before, or sorry, not demonstrated, but told you before, that this device itself does the signing for you because the keys are in this device. So in order for me to spend from this address, I need to have the Ledger device programmed with my 24 words properly to be able to send that out. Now there's different ways you can do that. You can just do it through the Ledger Live app if you want. Okay. Or you can use another interface such as my crypto, for example, when it comes to Ethereum. Okay. So when we do this, we're going to add an account on Ledger Live. We're going to do, let's say, Ethereum. Okay, so connect and unlock your Ledger device. Then we're going to go to Ethereum. Perfect. Continue. Now it's just going to synchronize. Okay, so it notices that we have a little bit of cryptocurrency in there. What we're going to do is we're going to send this back, and then I'll show you basically how it transfers out and back into my MetaMask. Okay, so we'll take this one and say, we'll call it new hardware wallet. Yay. Awesome, so we'll add this. Okay, great, add it to my portfolio. Now I'm going to send this back out using the send tab. Okay, now it's going to ask for the recipient address. Oops. The recipient address is my MetaMask wallet here. We'll copy this address. We'll go back to Ledger Live, type in, or sorry, paste in the recipient address. Looks like B4C1, great. 0xF488, perfect. Now, look at that. You can change the network fees in here yourself. Right? You can change in Gwei, you can change the gas limit on this, perfect. We're going to do, the only hard part here is that, unfortunately, the way this app is designed, you have to do a lot of the math yourself when it comes to how much can I send to my other wallet without it, with me being able to pay the network fees as well, right? So actually, I'm just going to use, for this demonstration, my crypto because it's a lot easier in that sense. we're just going to select ETH here, and we'll just click send entire balance, and it automatically does the calculation for us. So it automatically calculated the gas price here for me. And if I just go on to, let's say, ETH gas station, because I want to find out the optimal gas price to send, right now it's saying I can probably get away with 1.7 to 2.1. So maybe we'll just, instead of 3, why don't we just do 2? Okay. Now what that does is it actually changes the fee, right? So I'm just going to uncheck this, calculate again. Okay, it's just going to calculate gas limit on its own. Refresh the nonce. Okay. We'll click on send entire balance again. That'll change, obviously, because we changed the gas price. Actually, I'm not sure why the gas limit is automatically set this. Usually for sending Ethereum transactions, it should cost 21,000 in gas, and you shouldn't need more than that just to transfer cryptocurrency from one place to another. I gotta log back into my Ledger wallet. Okay. See, we're in the Ethereum app right now. Connect. We'll go back to our hardware wallet here. Okay, we're going to, first of all, copy my MetaMask address so we can copy it back to address. Perfect. We're going to set this to 2. Great, that makes a little more sense. And we're going to click send entire balance in ETH. Now, here's the thing that you need to keep an eye on here. So what it's going to do is when I hit send transaction, it's going to send the transaction to my Ledger device, okay? And then your Ledger device requires my physical input to actually sign the transaction. So when you click send transaction, confirm transaction. This is important here. You want to make sure that the address and the amount of everything here actually matches what you're seeing on your computer screen, okay? Because the assumption is whatever is showing on this device itself is correct. You should always assume that your computer is compromised and showing you the wrong information. This is the more important aspect of it. When you're good, sign it. Oh, we didn't sign it. We signed it a little too late, so we'll do it again because it times out. So we'll resend the transaction. Confirm. Yeah, looks good. That looks right. Just look at like the last bit of the address, make sure it matches. B4C1. Great. Check mark, signs it, and then my crypto will confirm the transaction as well, giving you another point of to try to review everything and make sure everything makes sense. There's a raw transaction. We're going to hit send. Boom. We're going to verify an Ether scan here. And that is how you send cryptocurrency out of your hardware device. This does all the signing. So that's it. If there's any specific questions, I'll take them. Otherwise, that's pretty much it for the Ledger Nano S. Actually, what I will do quickly is actually just show you how to reset the device so that we can start from scratch again. So we'll put in the pin. Okay, we're going to go into settings. We're going to go scroll down to security, device, reset all. Okay, so just going to refresh this and make sure it went through. Great. So it looks like all the Ether was sent back. Awesome. So now this hardware device is pretty much empty again. Okay, 2. And you can double check here. Yep, it's completely empty now. So now we're going to go to reset all. configuration apps and everything will get deleted. You're going to have to reconfigure everything. You hit yes to it. Put in your PIN. Great. And when you hit enter, it resets back to where it was before. And then when you start, you'll hit no, you don't want to configure a new device. You're going to restore the configuration, yes. You choose a PIN code, 0, 0, 0, 0. Confirm, 0, 0, 0, 0. Enter your recovery phrase. Enter, and then you're going to select the number of words to restore. We got a 24-word configuration, so we'll select that. Enter the first letters of word 1. Okay, so what it does is you scroll through the alphabet. My first one was tourist, so we'll scroll to T. Let's do this with 2 hands. T, O, where are you? O, here we go. U, and I'll limit down to all the different TOU words, which is only tourists. So we'll select that, and then you'll do that for all 24 words. Okay. So you can see that restoring is a long process. Hopefully you don't have to do it often. And that's pretty much it. We'll go back to the slide here. Awesome. So as always, next workshop, we haven't determined what that is yet because right now we're getting pretty busy here, and unless we get a lot of demand for the next workshop, that's why we record these sessions so we can direct people to watch these videos. But we would love to do a physical session with people. We just need obviously some demand for people to show up. So send suggestions of any other things that you're curious about, and we can make videos on those too, whether that be smart contracts, whether that be like anything that has sort of been burning your mind. We can do like a whole webinar on that. Join our Slack. That's where a lot of the information goes. It's sort of like a curated database of cool links and content that we have. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Blockcast Media, twitter.com/Blockcast_media. We have a newsletter that we put out every week, blockcast.substack.com, and let us know how to improve these sessions. And we can definitely make accommodations to make this a little easier for people. The goal is to try to get more people involved, and that's why we do these sessions. And hopefully that was easy enough to follow. If there's anything else that you are really curious about, we can focus on it for a specific webinar in the future. I'll be posting this up on YouTube for anybody that wants to review all of this, and all the links as well. All right, so thanks for watching, guys. I'm just gonna make sure there's no questions, and we're good to go. Thanks for hanging out. Cheers.